Well, if you're subscribed to my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com, you would have seen the story of what has happened to the rights of the people of Hong Kong in an attempt to show how quickly it can happen here. Truly, the Democrat Party cares no more about your rights than the Communist Chinese Party cares about Hong Kong's. Now today, I'd like to explain a bit about the philosophy that we're up against and the grip that it currently has on our media and culture. We have to know about our enemy, and yes, it is our enemy, in order to figure out how to defeat it. John Andrews has an excellent piece over at the Federalist. He writes that he sees Marxist fingerprints all over the current mess in our country. The infiltration has been going on for decades. I'm sure it once seemed far-fetched to many when the more outspoken conservative commentators such as Mark Levin frequently warned of Marxism in America. Well, today no one would call that over the top. He's always been right about this. It's just more obvious now. As John Andrews notes, the assumptions underlying Marx have pervaded schools and universities, mass media, and popular entertainment, corporate philosophy, medicine, the arts and sciences, even many churches and seminaries. They define today's Democratic Party as, well, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, no less than Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama. That's why I said yesterday that it doesn't matter whose names are on the ticket this fall. So what are these Marxist assumptions? Well, they certainly don't spring from the Judeo-Christian values that we hold dear, the spiritual connections that enrich our lives. Both Marx and Hegel were materialists, considering all things to be inconsistent with their way of looking at the world. The idea gives new meaning to Madonna's song about living in a material world. Living in this material world is a grim, empty way to exist, with no real objective concepts of right and wrong, just what your leaders tell you. But in places such as North Korea, it's how the people exist. They know nothing else. They are allowed to know nothing else. Atheists tend to see the world as a random collision of atoms affected by physical forces, so they're much more likely to gravitate to this way of seeing life. And it's true that more Americans are atheists today than in previous generations, but it should be stressed that many people who doubt the existence of God still have been exposed in our culture to religious beliefs about right and wrong, and they understand the value of these concepts in our lives. They love America and dread the thought of our freedoms being taken away just as much as any churchgoer. Some of them may even be induced to start praying for our country, as in the old saying, there are no atheists in foxholes. Still, as Andrews says, cultural Marxism is increasingly defining the worldview within which all debates and decision-making take place, even for most of those who rightly fear and despise Marx. The goal? Deconstructing the American way of life from top to bottom, leaving no sphere of our lives untouched. I would add that race is just a pretext for all of this. Create chaos, add some heat, mix well, cook until done. Andrews warns of the three main ways that Marxism accomplishes this deconstruction. The first step, dehumanizing the individual. We're seeing the Democrat Party doing this with identity politics, which reduces every person to his or her group victimhood or their guilt. Second, demoralizing relationships. In a world with no objective right and wrong, everything boils down to the material. Forget such things as personal dignity, family ties and duties, promises, tradition and heritage, even love and life itself. Really, all the things that make us human have no value in such a world. And I would add that if you've read Orwell's 1984, you know that in such a society, truth itself is meaningless, as the truth is whatever your leaders say it is. It's not enough for you to say that 2 + 2 = 5. You must truly believe that 2 + 2 = 5. To give a current example, if it's politically correct for you to believe that, as a white person, you're a racist. But you know you're not. So you'll have to undergo sensitivity training and read white fragility as many times as it takes for you to sincerely believe you are a racist. And if you can't believe this about yourself and do what's required of you to atone, you will have to be a non-person. Third, institutions must fall. The idea of civics and the citizen with a shared history is seen as absurd. Look at how it's being destroyed now with statues crumbling and history being twisted. Even language has to be controlled, as it's a shared part of the culture used to communicate and seek truth. We can see that happening today as well. Importantly, Animal Farm shows that the noble idea that all animals are equal inevitably is tweaked into, but some are more equal than others. We see this now in the Black Lives Matter movement. Try saying all lives matter and see where that gets you. Heck, Don Lemon recently demonstrated that even saying all lives matter will earn you the scorn of the left. And don't think that those at the top of the socialist pyramid will ever give up their wealth and control. Remember, they will cast it in stone and make sure no one else gets it. So why would educated young people and the masses living in leftist cities ever want this kind of nation? They've been brainwashed into thinking capitalism must be overthrown. In their artfully poisoned minds, America must atone with social justice for generations of racism and exploitation. America is evil, with an evil history and corrupt values that must be erased for all time. Even seeing an American flag triggers them. Trying to reason with a person indoctrinated in this view is like trying to communicate with a cult member. He's not interested in what you think, only in getting you woke or getting you out of the way. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing to the channel below and clicking the notification bell if you did. And be sure to like and share this video with all your crazy Democrat friends. They may not learn anything, but at least you'll annoy them. Now, if you want more of my news analysis and commentary, sign up for my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com. By the way, it costs exactly $0 for you to sign up. And by the way, check back here tomorrow evening for the live stream of the next episode of Huckabee. That's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.